Obviously the wrinkles all seem gone around the eyes. Forehead looks great. Everything worked out really well. So very happy.
This is my husband, Paul.
Hi.
We met 15 years ago in medical school, and it's really interesting because his wife's a dermatologist, but he refuses to have any sort of a skincare routine.
I kind of have one. I assume that when I shampoo, the water comes down over my face and cleans me that way.
Oh my gosh, it's really painful to hear that. I tell my patients, there's 3 simple steps: sunscreen, retinol, and antioxidant. Retinols are a very essential part of the whole process. What it does is that it really helps to visibly reduce the signs of aging. So that includes wrinkles, discoloration, enlarged pores, sagging skin. Probably the #1 thing that I recommend is a injectable, and specifically neuromodulators.
I know people who have used neuromodulators personally and can't hardly tell anything happened except for improvement.
It's simple and it's effective. Why have you been so resistant to wanting to try them?
I guess I haven't had an offer yet.
What are you talking about? Essentially, you come into the office, there's not a lot you need to do to prepare. And the way that the neuromodulator works is it actually prevents the nerve that tells the muscle to contract from talking to the muscle. Now, one thing that's really important before we get started is I want you to start putting these frozen peas on your face. So it actually kind of helps numb the area a little bit before we get started. And then after I inject, they actually also help with any sort of swelling and stuff. So you just put them on right after I inject. So I'm gonna start with your frown or your glabella. So actually I'm gonna have you get real angry. Now you can relax. So you're gonna feel a little pinch. So 1, 2, 3.
The peas do help.
Don't they? They really do make it better.
That's nice.
Okay, moving around.
All right, all done.
And you didn't even pass out. You're such a big boy. Immediately afterwards, you'll have what look like almost tiny little bug bites where we injected, and in about 20 or 30 minutes, it's gonna look like nothing happened.
Great.
I always instruct patients to make sure to move the muscles that we injected. So let me see you frown, angry, surprised, and smile. That really helps to selectively uptake the neuromodulator into the targeted muscles. There's more to it than just the procedure. So you gotta complement it with your at-home skincare routine. So retinol 0.3 is one of my favorite retinols because everybody can tolerate it. It's really meant to be your starting point. We can always move up from there, but this is a great place to start. Doesn't matter if you're 20 or 80. All you need is a very small amount. And then what I tell people is to do it in a star pattern. So you can start with your nose and you can just dab a little bit on your forehead, and then you can gently rub it in an outward motion. And that's it. So it's really simple. Now, you're not gonna see results right away after doing a neuromodulator. So it takes a few days for the effects to start to show up.
I had my injection just a few hours ago, and I think you can't tell that there's anything there anymore. It's been about 36 hours or so. I think I can already start to see a little bit of the effect. When I move my face, I'm starting to see some of the results. So there's no wrinkles here. I guess the eyes are definitely less too, especially the forehead. Looks like everything's great, really. I think I'd recommend it to anybody.
Thank you so much for being with us today. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about retinol and neuromodulators.